Hey y'all, y'all ain't gonna believe this. Okay, so some of you may remember I did a video where I was explaining that it was taking a lot of footwork, a lot of going back and forth trying to get a letter um, to be able to go to work, to be able to work. And in the letter, I needed for it to say any limitations that I may have, and I needed for the letter to say that I do have a medical device. It's support. They don't necessarily have to say support, but they needed to include that I have a medical device. Okay, so some of you may know I battled leukemia all last year and the year before that, to be honest. Hey, JC! You know I be watching you over there with the chickens. I want my chickens. I want my hens. I want my girls. It's just taking a little time, but hey. And you also do your Zumba. Hey. But so with battling leukemia, my body went through a lot. Okay, thank you for listening. Um, so my body went through a lot. And I know I talked about it before. I touched on it before, but I never really um, made a video only talking about this. But I think sometimes in the near future I will. It's something about me. I don't know what it is, but it's something about me what makes people look at me and just assume that I'm strong, assume that I can tolerate anything, and it's no big deal. I went through that before I was diagnosed. Every time I would bring up my issues, my problems, the things that I was going through, it was always kind of looked down on or shrugged off. And I don't know what the deal is, but I knew that it was something deep. I knew it was something. I knew it was something that was trying to take me out. Put it like that. And I had gotten to the point where I started like trying to clean some things because I was thinking to myself, if the Most High is gonna take me, I don't want people to walk in here and my um, pile of clothes is in the corner or something. So I started thinking like that. I went through being in the hospital. I went through the chemo. I went through the radiation, and all through this time, I had to go through some people, not my doctor, but some people that shrugged off any of my side effects. But if somebody else had the same exact side effects, it was, oh, you know, things are going to get better. I hope you be okay. But if I expressed the exact same side effects, it would be like, oh, she's just putting on, or she's just faking it, or whatever. She just want attention. But it's like, no, this is the way I feel for real. So that was just a brief little summary of all the stuff I went through. Being in the hospital for 40 days, 40 nights, coming back home only to be brought back into the hospital because the chemo and all the stuff, radiation and everything, caused fluid around my heart and my lungs and blah, blah, blah. You would think that when it's time for me to go back to work, my doctor's office will have no problem with just typing up something really quick saying, hey, yes, she can go back to work. However, she is one of our patients or whatever. So I got ready to apply for this job at FedEx. I used to work security for FedEx, so some of the things I already knew. I knew that they had a specific job for people who had disabilities or people who have already retired and just wanted a little part time job or something. I knew they had this. And they also had special instructions for people who had medical devices or anything that may not be good for them to go through the metal detectors. I know we had somebody who had anxiety really bad, and we would warn them down instead of sending him through the metal detector. We had other people who had medical devices that they would get worn down instead of going through the machine. Okay, so you would think with all of that I went through that when I try to get into the workforce, I can simply just say I need a letter stating my limitations and that I am under a doctor. And like I stated in the other video, I was met with, what? They need all that for a warehouse job? Uh, the warehouse industry must have changed. They need all that for a warehouse job, a little warehouse job? Uh, what? Well, I ain't got to tell them you got no port. And I was like, well, ma'am, you could just tell them I have a medical device. And, but I need something in order for me to be placed in the area where they place people who have limitations, basically. And like I said, people always look at me and just assume she got it, she can do it, she's built up like she's in sports or something. Okay, y'all, I requested that letter before I even got a call back because I figured, I said, if FedEx call me back, they're going to need something on file, so that they can position me where I could be. Still nothing. So FedEx called me back. They wanted me to come in for orientation. I went in, I did my orientation, and in orientation, I believe it was like the second day of orientation, I asked the HR, I asked the lady, because they mentioned something about if you have any ailments or anything, FedEx is an equal opportunity company. Just let us know. And I said, okay. She mentioned something about having medical devices and things. She said, we got people back here who do have medical devices and have um, limitations, and we have some retirees that are working here, so just let us know and give us the proper documents. So I raised my hand and I asked her. She was right in front of me, so I was like, uh, does having a port count even if you are a survivor, even if you, and I was kind of asking her like, so I wouldn't be so loud. I don't want people to feel sorry for me, so I didn't want to be like, hey, what if you got a port? So I was like, so what if you have a port but you're in remission, but you still have a medical device? Like, would I need anything for that? And she was like, yes, you need a doctor's note. She said that way we could put you exactly where you need to go. So I said, so does the doctor's note need to have anything specific? She said, yes, it needs to have if you have any limitations. Any. She said, even if it says no heavy lifting, that's fine. We'll put you in what we call smalls. We'll put you where the small packaging come through, or we'll have you scanning. I said, okay, cool. I'm sure I can get that because I already requested it. So I probably just need to go up there and pick it up. They probably just forgot to call me back. They probably just forgot to, I'm thinking like that. They probably just forgot to call me back because I already requested a letter when I knew I was job hunting. I already knew I'm going to need something, um, because I know that I still get tired. That's one of my lingering side effects from all the chemo and radiation is I still get tired pretty fast. And I try to fight against it. I try to do my exercise and I try to stay up on drinking plenty of water. Plenty of water. And I know that I want to get back to the real world. But I know I have limitations. So I'm thinking maybe if I go up there, because I've already called and requested something. I left 2 messages and I'm not getting anything. I went up there and I was like, yes, I had requested a letter to go back to work and I need something stating my limit. I just repeated the same thing that HR told me. And she was like, oh, so that means you need to talk to this person. I was like, okay, fine. So that person comes out, and her attitude, I don't even want to say too much because it was so, I don't know, it was just real, you need all that? I was like, yeah. And then when I got ready to walk away, she was like, oh, so you just want to scan. That's what that is. You just want to keep scanning. That's what that is. And I was like, yeah, yes. Like, what's wrong with it? It's almost like she tried to make me feel bad for wanting a position. I want to work, but I don't want to hurt myself. Um, limitations like what's I mean, okay, like my doctor don't want me to lift anything over 10 pounds. My doctor also does not want me to handle any harsh chemicals. He does not want me to be around um, a lot of harsh fumes. I think it was Roundup. It's I have a list of different chemicals and stuff I'm not supposed to be handling or be around. I'm not supposed to be around people who think they may be sick. Those are the limitations I'm talking about. It's like it's a limit. It's things that I can do, but I do have a limit. Like I can work, I can lift, but I can't do any heavy lifting. Even if somebody feels like, oh, she got this, she's 5'7" and she got this. She's kind of muscular. She got. I still have my limits. So with that being said, when she did the whole, oh, you just want to scan, so you just want to scan. I was like, yes, I want to scan. Like, I want to work, but I know I can't be in a truck. I know I can't be loading and unloading a truck, but I want to work. And this is a company that will allow me to work if I have a letter. So I walked away because she said, oh, okay. I got your information in the system and I'll let you know when your letter is ready. That's what she said. So I went on back doing everything normal. I was going to FedEx every day. I was going to the orientations and everything. After the orientation, I started working, blah, blah, blah. And boom, I got put on a truck. I got put on a truck by myself. And I got put on a truck that had a underbelly. A underbelly in an 18 wheeler is thank you, Shiki baby. So the underbelly is when you have to load boxes under, then you let down this flap, and then you load the top. Y'all, they put me on a truck by myself loading things. And some of those packages are pretty heavy. And they'll tell you, like, if you get something too heavy, do team lift or whatever, whatever. Some of those packages might look like they're little, and then when you go to lift them, then that's when you figure out, oh, this is kind of heavy. It might be in a box that look like curtain rods, and then you might go to pick it up and you figure like, this is not curtain rods, this is heavy. Y'all, I was hurting from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet, and I was still okay, but I knew I need that letter. I need that letter because I'm not going to be able to keep doing this every morning. And I work the sunrise, so I'm going in to work at like 3 in the morning, 3, 4 in the morning. Y'all, so after being in the truck, I come home and I call. I say, yes, I requested a letter and I haven't seen anything yet. I've requested numerous amounts of time. And then they was like, oh, let me transfer you over to And they said the same person name. I said, no, 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 no. I said, I keep talking to the same person. I'm not getting it. Do you have a supervisor, somebody over her, or somebody else that can type me up a letter, one of the PAs or something? And they was like, oh no, you need to talk to her. That's her field, blah blah blah. And they switched me right back over to the same lady. And I kept getting an answering machine. I kept getting like the little message. So I'm leaving messages. Then after I called back, I was like, can I talk to somebody else, please? They transferred me over to another line where they was like, you could talk to one of our, I think it was the charge nurse or something like that. Okay. I left a message for that person. Still nothing. So I'm working. I'm coming back home beat down, tired. Then I started getting bruises. And anybody who has ever known anybody that has gone through leukemia knows that you do not like to see bruises. Bruises was one of the main things that um, showed up when I was diagnosed. I was getting purple, bluish bruises all over my body. Um, and that was one of the red flags when they wanted to check my blood for leukemia. And voila, my white blood cell count was extremely high and I had bruising everywhere, and that's how they knew I had leukemia. So I started bruising up. I started feeling even more tired. I was able to do the job, but I knew I was doing too much. I knew it was affecting my body. And so one day, after work again, I took my babies to school. I got Cinco on the bus, and I drove back up to that hospital. Thank you for the hearts. I'm Bias. Welcome in, welcome in. I drove back up to that hospital, y'all, and that's a pretty good ways. It's about a good 40, 45 minutes I was driving. And the whole way up there, I even called my mom. I'm like, Mom, I think they playing with me. It's getting rough. I'm trying to work. I want to do the right thing, but it's almost as if this one particular person is just um like she was just headstrong on not giving me what I needed to work a job that's not as strenuous, not as uh, hard for me. And I was like, I know I'm in the recovery state. I said, but it's still some side effects that's getting to me. And my mom was like, just pray about it before you go in there, and just pray and ask God to guide your tongue, and ask God. And when my mama talked to me like that, it do kind of calm me down a little bit. But at the same time, sometimes I be thinking to myself, but mama, they want me to let them have it. I'm about to let it rip. I know we supposed to pray about it. I know we supposed to put God first and all that we do. But I'm about to go in there and go off. Because now you messing with my livelihood. Because at the same time that you're refusing to give me a letter that will help me to be able to keep a good job with benefits, at the same time the hospital is sending me bills from last year, from being seen in the emergency room on last year. So now, so now I'm sitting here like, when I got up there, I sat in the car for a minute and I'm like, please, Lord, guide my tongue. Please, Lord, guide my heart. Please just give me the right words to say. Give me the right words to say where I don't come off as being nasty or rude. I just want to get this done so that I can keep this job. I really, really like this job. I really like this company. I really like the benefits. I like the hours because I would still be able to spend time with my kids. And y'all, I went in there and it was different. It was one person that was different at the front desk. And I went to her and she was like, how may I help you and everything? And I had my live on. I took that live is on private now. But I put it on private because throughout our conversation, she kept saying my full name. So that's why I took that live off. But when I came in, she asked me my date of birth, my name, and everything, and she was like, "How may I help you? Because you're not on schedule." I said, "No, I'm not on schedule today, but I came up here because I keep requesting a letter, and I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting an email. I'm not getting a phone call, text, nothing. It's nothing. I've been requesting a letter since before I was hired." I said, "Now I'm working the job, and I'm doing great. How are you?" So now I'm working the job, and I need this letter to keep my benefit. Well, you have to be on the job for 90 days to get started with your benefits, but I need this letter to put me in a proper place where I can work there comfortably. I know I'll still be on my feet or whatever, but I'll be able to work comfortably, and I will be accommodated. I don't even know the words I'm looking for, but y'all know what I'm saying. They would be able to um, place me where I need to be so that I can still work, still have good hours, and after 90 days have benefits. "Oh, you need to talk to," said the same name. I said, "No, I do not want to talk to the same person because I've been requesting this letter from the same person all this time." Y'all, just go ahead and give y'all a quick little update. After that day, when I came to y'all and I was venting and everything, and I was telling y'all about how, good afternoon, I was telling y'all about how, everything was going, and I was so hurt. I was so stuck on trying to work. I just wanted to work, and I just felt like she was being nasty to me for no apparent reason. I didn't even really know her like that. This was my first time even meeting her while trying to get this letter. So, y'all, when I got home that evening, I got a phone call from said person, her. And she was a totally different person. She was like, "Yes, I was calling because of the letter that you requested for work, and I just want to let you know that your letter is ready, and either I can fax it to your employer, or I can mail it out to you." I was like, "Mail it to me. You can mail it to me." And she was like, "Okay, well," and she said the address that they have on file and everything. I was like, "Okay, thank you." But by then, it was like, is it too late? So I still that was that day. I still haven't received the letter yet. But then I received an email with a copy of the note in the email, and I read the note. The letter that was written stated that I was under the care of the doctor, and that I do have limitations. That's why I keep using the word limitations, because I already knew, because he had already told me this when I reached my 1 year mark. Well, not the 1 year mark, but I forgot what it was. It was right before October. I saw him again. I think it was in September. And he told me then he don't mind me working. He's glad. He was happy to see me in such good spirits, such good shape, but it was a few things he didn't want me to forget. He didn't want me to forget that I am doing well. Thank you, Sackcloth Queen. And let me say hey to Sackcloth King over there too, because I was watching y'all one day and he mentioned that. But I try to keep quiet, and I just like everybody's stuff. But y'all, when I tell y'all that letter stated exactly what I needed, it, I was just, the letter was short, brief, and said exactly that I had been under the care, that I still have a medical device. But in the letter, she did put that I have a port, that I do have a medical port implanted, and that I am still being seen. And the doctor has restrictions on the amount of weight that I can lift don't want me lifting anything over 10 pounds. I thought it was more than that. I thought he didn't want me lifting anything over 20 pounds or something like that. Let's be honest, my twins are both like 40 pounds each, and I pick them up all the time. But I didn't realize that he don't want me picking anything up over 10 pounds. They emailed me a copy and they're mailing me a copy of said letter. But now here's the issue. Now that I've been in that truck by myself, now it's like, is it too late? Is the letter too late? I don't know. At the time when she called, I didn't have the fax number for HR. So I guess I'll be giving y'all another update. But I just thought that that was so low for somebody to wait that long. Weeks, mind you, weeks. Because I requested twice before getting hired, and then I requested again after orientation, and requested again a week after that. Y'all, so I got an email and I read the letter, but I'm waiting for the physical letter to get here. And I'm going to give y'all an update with what's going on. But yeah, it might actually be too late for the letter now. So that's crazy. But there you have it. I received the letter and the email, and I'm receiving a physical copy in the mail. And I did not have the fax number on me at the time of HR, but I did call to let them know what's going on, and we shall see. Because HR still has to talk it over with my manager, and they have different managers for different shifts, so they have to wait to talk it over with the manager. The midnight he's over midnight and sunrise, I believe. They have to talk it over with him. But I already know that they looked at me, they sized me up, and they looked at my last name and said, put her on a truck. That's what I'm thinking. But it's okay. I feel like this. I feel like if it's not meant to be, maybe I had to go through all of this because the Most High has something bigger and better lined up for me. That's the way I'm trying to see it. But I'm hoping that they work something out with me now that I have a letter, because I don't want them to keep putting me in no truck by myself. But anyway, that was a quick little update. I do have a letter, but now I gotta see if it's too late. Cause my dumb tail self got in that truck and was actually building walls and putting everything where it got to go, and they looking like. So now I'm like, maybe I should have did an awful job. But anyway, y'all know how I do it. Until next time. That's right. We'll always make a way. Jehovah Jireh, my provider. Y'all, until next time, gracias por ver. Danke fürs Schauen. Yes, I'm still working on my languages. Thanks for watching. Adios. Bye.